Now at 11, we're digging deeper into the impact of today's historic decision by the U.S. Supreme Court. Tonight, President Obama's landmark health care overhaul that affects just about everyone is going forward. The Supreme Court upheld the law, including the most controversial requirement that all Americans have health insurance by 2014. The president says the court's decision means it's time to move forward.
It should be pretty clear by now that I didn't do this because it was good politics. I did it because I believed it was good for the country. I did it because I believed it was good for the American people.
GOP presidential candidate Mitt Romney and Republicans in Congress are vowing to repeal the law despite the Supreme Court ruling. We've learned the health care reform law will have a big impact on Rhode Island. As we told you on Eyewitness News at 5 and 6, the Supreme Court's decision means tens of thousands of Rhode Islanders with pre-existing conditions will have access to coverage, and thousands of young adults can stay on their parents' health plans until age 26. We've also learned that the health care overhaul means many small businesses in Rhode Island will have to make some major changes. Eyewitness News reporter Steve Nielsen spoke to a restaurant owner about what he'll have to do. He joins us live from the mobile newsroom with more on what he's learned.
Well, Susan, the owner of the Wharf Tavern here in Warren says he's going to specifically avoid hiring more employees to avoid paying for health care.
It makes it kind of less profitable for me to want to be bigger.
Greg Esme says the new health care law will prevent his business from growing.
And let's say 20 people sign up, I'd be out of business. I'd be done. There's no way we could afford it. I mean, we couldn't afford 10 people.
Esme owns the Wharf Tavern, which employs about 45 people. He's only owned the Warren waterfront business for about a year and is expanding. But if he were to hire more than 50 employees, the new health care law would force him to provide health insurance or face a hefty fine.
To run a 300-seat restaurant, I would probably have about 62 employees.
But that's not going to happen.
Not if it's going to cost me. I'd be better off not to do that.
Esme also owns the Grist Mill Tavern, the historic restaurant that burned to the ground in Seekonk on Sunday. He was able to insure a few employees there, but with the income now gone, he says he just can't afford it. Esme says it's a head-scratcher. To make more money, he needs more employees. He'd love to have the staff to fill his banquet room every night, but having to pay their health insurance would cost him more in the end.
We will do everything to avoid the 50 person. I hate to say that, but this restaurant is not profitable enough to run health insurance.
So in the end, he says the new bill will cause him to not want to grow.
I would make less and have a higher chance of failure than I would staying slightly smaller.
And if a small business were to have more than 50 employees and not offer the health insurance, the law says they'd face a fine of $2,000 to $3,000 per employee every year. Reporting live with the East Bay Mobile Newsroom in Warren, I'm Steve Nielsen, Eyewitness News.